Thanks. Alrighty then, welcome back to another J&J Sunday on the Monday. Um, I'm here with two lovely ladies here. One that goes by the name of Josh again with a so-called Peekaboo copycat hat.
Evie, Evie,
It's an
If it
Eevee.
looks like Pikachu, I'm gonna call it what it is.
it's an
Discount
Evie.
Pikachu.
You dumb smut,
Well,
smut.
after people are. Well, I'm putting Pikachu on it because number one, a lot of people are upset. We'll talk about that. We're here with Kat. Um, as always, our UK friend. How you doing, Kat?
I'm doing great. How about you?
And this is going to be an extension of that Pikachu I Choose You movie, a movie that has been out on selected theaters. Some people have actually saw it. And oh my God, man! First thought I see a situation where many people get enraged over one scene. Now, some people have seen it in theaters. Some people have actually leaked version on the web. Some people say it was on Facebook, some on YouTube. I've seen a piece of it on doubletoasted.com. They've mentioned it on their video game segment called High Score. Guys should check them out if they're very, very good. And every reaction is exactly what you can expect. WTF. People are upset. Forget about whether the movie. Forget about the movie except for the fact that they made Pikachu talk. Granted, from what I understand, it's just one scene, but the fact is, he should never talk. Period. It's like it's
I seem to be
man,
the
look,
only
man,
person that's okay with this.
I'm like okay with
Man.
it being one line, but the voice was just what broke me. It's like, okay, he talks. Okay, I got over that, but I can never get out over hearing.
Now, here's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna let you defend this, Cat,
Hang
because I know
on,
you said you're the only one.
I'm going to have
I
to
wanna
leave
say
for a
this once.
second. I'm going to need to leave for a second. Sorry. Just
All right, well, don't take too long. Josh is leaving. Obviously, something happened. We'll talk about that later. But here's the thing. I am not a person. Like, I didn't see the movie, so I can't say on its own why they did it. Because I got to see the movie in its entirety to understand the situation. I do understand one thing, though. This is a reboot, obviously a retelling. It was mentioned in the old version why Pikachu didn't want to go in the ball. It said that he can choose not to be in the ball. Here, he just plain out said, "I just want to be with you." So obviously, this is more of a fermented relationship. Many people said that Ash was hurt and he was probably being delusional. That could be actually a good justifiable reason. But the point is, Pikachu was always a lovable character just by him saying the name Pika all the time. Now you're giving him a voice. Yeah, perfect. Good imitation, by the way.
Pika.
So hearing his voice, people just lost their mind. They can accept Meow because it was actually been explained that there may be an experiment and he actually taught himself. People understand what Mewtwo was. People understand the telepathic Pokemon, but they never expect them to basically bring Pikachu into the mix. They basically saying they've ruined Pokemon just on that alone. But you disagree when what you're feeling on the voice.
Well, given that it's basically the human version of the Pikachu voice, I think it matches well, but maybe like that's what's throwing people off. But basically, I'm just seeing it as like more of an emotion read of the moment, and we're like hearing that translation through Ash's perspective at that point. That's all I
Oh,
think it is. I don't I maybe I'm just way more open with way more open minded with this film than I thought I was gonna be. So that's how I'm okay with it.
and you didn't. And to be fair, here's the thing: a lot of people who's upset are old school Pokemon fans. They're adults. I don't know what the children fans perspective. Mind you, it's kind of odd that the theater was mostly adults reaction, not children. But it's when you grow with the franchise, that's to expect. The bottom line is this: I've seen people just lose their mind over this. Now, I don't know if they're gonna do a TV series or they're gonna continue with the movie version. I do know one thing. Um, the movie is getting, in a way, this is actually a good thing because it's actually giving more tread to the film. Because again, I don't think too many people knew this was even existed. You gave me the heads up. I would never even think about this movie. I didn't even know there was 20 of them. I keep saying this. I only heard of 4.
I knew
There's
there
20
were
to the
a
20th.
shitload. I knew there was a shitload, but I'm like, whatever number I'm imagining, I know it's going to be higher.
20. I only know 4 that came on theaters. There's 20 of these movies. And I'm still kind of wondering if they count the 1 hour specials. I don't count 1 hour specials. When you got 1 minute, 1 hour, and 1 minute, then yeah, then you're fully filmed. But again, is that the only surprise that should be to happen in this movie?
Repeat that, please.
Is that the only surprise that people should expect with this movie?
Given my spoilers list, let me just have a peek at it. Not a pun, I promise. In terms of nasty surprises like Pikachu talking, I would say, yes, that's the only real proper negative thing I would say to be aware of.
Uh-huh.
Other than that, all the rest of it is literally just story wise, and it works as far as I'm concerned.
All right, so I'm kind of surprised. I mean, again, this is where I thought I was not going to hear much about the Pokemon phenomenon. Here comes the shocker that ticked off a lot of people. But again, it's not, to me, it's not a big deal. I mean, unless you, Jozican, didn't want to hear Pikachu talk.
No, I don't know. It's very, as I said before, I don't really care about the TV shows or the movies. I just, except me for
How you gonna say you don't care and you're wearing a hat?
I like the games. I like the design of the Pokemon. That doesn't mean I give a shit about the lore, that, the timelines, alternate dimensions, yada yada yada. But I care about the games. I like the Pokemon. I love the designs. I don't really care about the movies and TV show. But when I heard that Pikachu talked, I was like, for some reason, even though I don't give a shit, I'm like, that just sounds wrong.
You sound like just like everybody else saying, you never do that. I mean, we don't talk about a make-believe character, but then again, I am remembering that there were a bunch of people who got out their car just to catch a make-believe character in Pokemon Go in the middle of
They're not make-believe.
So that's just my own opinion. Kat, did anybody of your friends, and you see this movie, I'm assuming you didn't see this by yourself, what's their own reaction to this? And did your theater have the same reaction to what I saw on bootleg?
Given it was barely half full, and none of and I technically did actually go on my own, and I did make a friend while I was there who also wasn't bothered by it. There, as far as I could hear, was basically no reaction. So, but I don't know. Maybe they were just way too far away for me to actually hear them, because partially hearing, can't hear crap.
Okay, so at least your theater didn't go. I think this was just the U.S. Theaters, because they were just like, what? Huh? What the
No!
I'm like, Jesus.
What the fuck?
People were losing their mind. I'm like, so forget about the movie where it's good or bad. It's just that one scene.
That just said my childhood.
I think I've ruined my own childhood.
I'll tell you this though. It reminds me of everything, like your movie that you hate, and now just remember what movie we talked about. Your Indiana Jones hate fest with the fourth film.
Oh, there's only 3 Indiana Jones films, and they're all awesome.
But here's the thing, though. Everybody who says they didn't like that movie points to one scene, and I'm like scratching my head as to why. I've seen the Temple of Doom and how ridiculously unrealistic that film was, and people love that movie. This had only, truly, if you look at it, like 1, 2, okay, maybe 3 unrealistic scenes, and people were just like, "Oh, you can't do that." I mean, you can't put Indiana Jones in the refrigerator and he can't survive without having broken. I mean, wait a minute.
It's not just like the aliens, although that was definitely huge. What the
Huge.
hell? Is it because Indiana Jones is about religious stuff, not aliens? I
You didn't
love
read the books, did
aliens.
you? The
Luckily,
books by you didn't read the books.
no, but I think Easter Island pops up a bunch. But anyways, for someone who has only really seen the movies, aliens. I don't go to Indiana Jones movies to see fucking aliens. And if they were to introduce aliens in the movieverse, they should do it slowly. Not suddenly go, oh yeah, here's a big plot.
First of all,
big reveal.
here's the thing. They had religious artifacts. The crystal stones are real. They actually do exist.
Yeah, I know they exist, but the end thing, it should not be aliens for an Indiana Jones movie. And besides the fucking aliens, the plot was stupid. It was just a very lackluster film overall, with a bunch of big points you can't point out, and then smaller ones. And and then you end up getting tortured for 5 hours, or however long the movie actually was.
I look at it like this. I will call it like it is. All right. The one thing I keep on bringing inside the alien, I'm saying, okay, you do understand this is a B-list film. It always was. It's only copying stuff they already been seen before. All right, the Temple of Doom was the most popcornish film.
At least it wasn't aliens.
Oh no, the guy ripping the guy hard out.
Yeah, like Temple of Doom was not the best Indiana Jones movie. It was still fun, and it still did not involve aliens.
No, just about the guy ripping the guy's heart out, and he was still alive. I mean, that's perfectly realistic. And
well, it's not explained by aliens. It's explained by some stupid spiritual or religious shit that makes no actual sense, but somehow it works.
Okay. Here's the thing. Here's a known fact. Do you know why the Last Crusade exists?
No.
Steven Spielberg wanted to apologize for the first two movies. He regretted making the first film a Nazi film. It was a huge backlash because Hindus thought he was being racist. Even the cast members said it was a little bit much for them. That's why Last Crusade existed, and it was borderline at that. And I love the Last Crusade.
That was good film.
Keep in mind, also, Steven Spielberg didn't want to make another Indiana Jones film. He was done with the Indiana Jones film. George Lucas brought him back in the game. Now, granted, I will say this, and Kat, you will probably agree. If you don't, then that's fine. Too much CGI. It's gritty as the other three films because the PG-13 isn't even the same in the 80s than it is in the 90s. They cut back on it. But even with that, as a fun popcorn film, I enjoyed it. All right. Now, what's your reason for liking Gremlins 2? That's just as. Hello. Hello. Okay. Josh.
You're still alive.
I've never seen Gremlins 2.
Oh, we can't talk.
Weird.
I'm sorry. I know about it. Some behind the scenes stuff. I think I sort of remember, and I've seen the first Gremlins way back when, but it was a good film.
Okay. But I'm saying that the reaction I'm seeing from one scene is the same reaction I'm getting from the Indiana Jones, from Ghostbusters 2. I'm like, one scene doesn't make a film.
No.
Yeah, depending on what it is, it can ruin the whole experience. But I feel if that's this one scene that lasts not even 30 seconds, what's the big deal? I mean, look.
With the Indiana Jones, like if it was just one scene, one detail, I'd be like, okay, it was a crappy scene and otherwise good film, and I can't wait to watch the movie again.
You're gonna hold that aliens against it, and that's a shame.
That's the big thing I can point out. I mean, I could probably watch it again and get about 50 million things, but I don't get paid, so no.
Kat,
Shit.
what Are you hoping this doesn't ruin? Because to me, with the Pokemon film, I think the one thing is hurting. First of all, I don't. When I see a reboot, I understand and recognize, and that's with any reboot, not just Pokemon. That this is not for me. This is for a new generation of fans. The old fans, like the ones who are in their 30s and 40s now, although I can imagine why you still watch the animated series at the age of 40. But then again, Japanese animation, they have their Pokemon, the old shows, the old movies. This is for the new generation. So again, it doesn't bother me as much, but I still feel that nostalgia. I think people just don't want to let it go, or at least let it pass on to the next generation.
I don't. I don't exactly know what kind of answer you want me to give. I'm just still going to be surprised that I was as open-minded in seeing it as I didn't think I was going to be.
No, man, I think you came in with the idea. Okay, it can't be any worse than other movies. It only can go up from there. I mean, it is a reboot, which I was actually kind of surprised they rebooted it, considering they didn't need to.
Well,
Uh,
more of an alternate universe. I'm just gonna say that again. It is basically confirmed universe
and I'm gonna,
in an alternate timeline. What
and I
if?
say I hate that. I hate his hat. That's all I gotta say.
Wow,
I hate his
good
hat.
news. Good news. The symbol that was on his hat originally is now on his bag. So
Okay.
so it hasn't gone perf. It still exists. It's just somewhat
Okay.
different.
I liked it his hat more than I liked it his name. I know that sounds crazy, but you cannot tell me that you name a character as a condiment and I'm supposed to respect him.
Ketchup.
Oh man, I think that's a U.S. version.
Or catch 'em all.
I'm
Ketchup.
hoping that the Japanese version don't have his name like that. I'm pretty sure they don't.
No, he was named Satoshi after the creator of the whole franchise.
See, that sounds better. That sounds like important power. You sounding, and what the U.S. said, oh, we can't do. That's too difficult to pronounce. Let's name him.
We cannot
Like,
say Satoshi
yeah.
Tajiri. Really?
Oh man,
It's
let me
Satoshi
remind me.
Tajiri. How can you not say that with a bit of practice?
I would love to see. Cause look, I can tell you right now, I've seen the Yu-Gi-Oh Japanese version. I'm loving it. I don't know. I'm still debating whether to do a show, but the Yu-Gi-Oh is the only name that actually translates in both the Japanese version, and the U.S. version. Every other character has been changed. I don't. Christian is named Honda. Taya is Umza. That's the only one that probably is.
And
Joey, Anzu. Thank you. Joey is Juna. I think it's called. I don't know what they call Grandpa. Um, the one they changed the most. I'm kind of surprised they actually did because they didn't need to change it. Pegasus first name is actually his last name, and it puts Maximilian. Why? He had a perfectly name that you can pronounce in America and in Japan. His name is actually Pegasus Crawford. It's fine. What's the?
well,
That's it.
I know that in Japan, your 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 surname is first for some reason. I don't know why, but I know I understand that much about their culture.
Mhm.
Like with Death Note, because like that's like this is how I learned it.
Mhm.
Uh,
So is this?
I'm used to hearing
Oh,
Yagami Light instead of
uh-huh.
like Yagami. So
So my question to you, Kat, since we're still on the Pokemon thing, since I got my rant out the way and Josh disappeared again, don't
and
know
I
where
have my
she at now.
document up.
You are now on spoiler
I
territory.
am here. I just didn't really have anything to say, so.
No,
Okay.
you're here. You're gonna say a lot because Kat is gonna go to spoiler territory. I doubt you're gonna see this film in Florida because I don't know if they have special select theater screenings. New York, there is specially select screenings that I gotta look. Whether I go or not, I'll just do what I did with Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Side Dimension, where I look at it much later. But now it comes to your end of the show. We talked about the spoiler free as much as we can. We already talked about Pikachu having the voice of someone we didn't know who that person was, and I'm just gonna go on and say that Ash was beat up and he was just tired. He was hallucinating.
I'm still
That
saying
seems
it was an emotional read.
yeah, that was some powerful weed too. Here we are. You're up. Spoiler territory. You can start whatever you like, and I'm gonna sit back and let you do your thing. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I am actually going to start off with the top half of my document, and I'm actually going to like read every note that I wrote down. So bear with me. I thought it was well worth the title of the 20th film, because how many franchises get to that amount of films in the first place? It was lovely to have Ho-Oh have its own movie, given that its rival Lugia had the second film all to itself. For a while near the end, I wasn't too pleased about Ash being the chosen one again, as with every film. However, I did add on a point into my point jar about him being smart for once. Like he would look at a Pokemon like Pidgey, and he would know it was Pidgey, and then the Spearow, and he didn't need the Pokedex to spell it all out for him, like in the first episode, which is nice for us older gens who don't have to listen to all that pandering again. And as far as I'm aware, to memory, because it's been like 2 weeks since I saw it now, he wasn't getting taught like the audience would be taught on like how to battle and all that sort of stuff, which is really nice as compared to various episodes of season starters that I've seen. Staring at the black and white starting episodes. Also, I will admit that I love how he seemed to be more fleshed out in this. And yeah, my memory is a bit fuzzy on the first, say, 20 episodes. But my brain brought up this thing that I read about how James from Team Rocket would have the Pokemon added to his team by simply being nice to them and giving them the choice. And I saw Ash doing that here, and I can't remember if that's how he did it most of the time in the TV show, because it's been 2 decades. But I thought that was really nice. I will be a bit nitpicky about the Pokedex, because I recognize it as a Pokedex. It was more of just a touch screen at the time. So when it was shown on screen, I honestly didn't think it was a Pokedex, because obviously we're all used to the little red flippy open Pokedex. But I quite like the touchscreen version. Now, companions. The lack of Misty and Brock actually didn't end up bothering me too much, given that I liked the 2 new companions, Verity and Sorrel. I really like their voices. I also really liked Ash's as well, because, I mean, yeah, it's no Veronica Taylor, but I thought it was just gonna grate on my ear for the movie, and it didn't. But if it had been Veronica Taylor, I think that would have just been the icing on the cake. I loved the camera work and the animation, especially the mixing of CG and traditional, as I think it has been since I think either the first or the second movie, because that's always just been beautiful. Also, I will give them 2 points for keeping the majority of original Pokemon noises, such as with Caterpie and Pidgey, and some of the first gen Pokemon. Another gripe I will have, so I'm taking off a point again. I was disappointed in their saying "Go Pokeball" instead of "Pokeball Go," but that's just me being used to Pokeball Go. Okay, half a tick. Just need to. Okay. Right, spoiler territory. Although one thing I will say before spoiler territory, it was nice to finally have a movie where a small cute Pokemon was not needing to be protected before it saved the day for once. That was nice. They didn't have to base the movie around that for once. I'm not saying that the movies that do this are a bad thing. I just sort of thought that, like, from the films I have seen, that was happening a bit too much. Although the main bad Pokemon in this, I'm not a fan simply because of it. Putting it politely, because of it being a bitch. And surprisingly stupid, because still in spoiler territory, there is one scene where Ash goes off alone and he's put into this nightmare world. Okay, fine. Why with Marshadow and not with Darkrai? That was just my question. Also, just curious why or how Marshadow got the information of this other world, this Pokemon-less world, to put into Ash's dream. But I criticized it for being stupid because Ash, like, wasn't holding the Rainbow Feather at that point, and Marshadow, who is after the Rainbow Feather, could have easily grabbed it at that point, and instead it just kind of sat around giving Ash this nightmare, and I'm not entirely sure why. To do with Pikachu's talking scene, I know we're back at that again, but I thought it was beautiful, and I don't really see what the big deal is about this. I thought it was well done for what it needed to do, and I said my piece earlier, so I'm going to move on. I also adored the adding in of various starting episodes, like Bye Bye Butterfree and the one with Charmander. I think like just reliving Bye Bye Butterfree just broke all of us. I am going to assume me and the friend that I made there was certainly broken by that point. I was briefly confused about how Charmander's trainer Damien had been switched out for a guy named Cross. But I did like him being the main rival of the film. I almost said game.
So it sounds like, from what you're describing, is it's a lot of nostalgia mixed in with something new in this movie.
Yeah. Also, as has been noted as a first time, there is one Pokemon which dies off screen but is never brought back. So that is apparently the first official Pokemon death, and well, outside of Gary's Raticate and Cubone's mother, but those are more game bursts, so I'm not going to count those. But basically, damn. I was gonna also deduct points for no sighting of Mew or Mewtwo, but I believe that the credits sequence filled that in for me, so I'm just gonna leave that as is, and that is all I have written. Back to you, Jockley.
Very interesting. Before we move on, as we all said, again, you gave the film a high rating, which is very fair. You've seen the movie, you enjoyed it. Will this constitute a continuation of this newly rebooted Pokemon series, or are they going to just stop right here and just go with the so-called project of the live action film, which they're trying to push or get greenlit through various people?
Could you run that by me again? You broke up a bit.
Do you see this franchise continuing starting from this movie, or do you see them stopping and just possibly focusing on a live action film?
I think they're probably going to be more focused on making the live action film. I think this was just a one off, which upsets me a bit, but whatever.
Thing. Shots again. Turn on your mic. I like to hear your opinion on what she said.
I don't care
Any
about
questions?
the movie.
Yes, you
I'm
do.
never going to watch it. I'm not going to watch the previous ones. I have no
First of all-
opinion.
First
I'm
of all-
sorry.
First of all, Josh, we gotta do a casting call, and it's gonna be about Pokemon. I didn't do it last week because you wasn't here. All right, so we're gonna have your opinion who could play who and what. And by the way, I don't know what the new cast member is. I don't care. I'm looking at Aski, the blind Brock, who will play the voice of Meow. All these guys. All right, so get used to hearing it. Before we get to that, we're gonna move on now. Did you see the Justice League yet?
No. I haven't seen
No.
Thor Ragnarok, but Brian has, and he started to describe his scene in vivid detail to me. Luckily, unfortunately, my phone can't mute, but I can turn it down to the lowest setting and put it under the pillow. And then check every now and again to see if he's finally shut up. But I can't tell him to shut up because he'll just go, I'm not sure giving any spoilers, Aaron. Under the pillow you go. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to talk about the Justice League in a minute because there are some interesting things about this. Before then, we do have to do a top 5. I kept it away from the last week, so let's do it this week. Let's get this out the way real quick. Let's start with the number 5 movie for this week. And keep in mind, just because you're in the top 5, it doesn't mean you made money. It just means you're in the top 5. So let's get right straight down to it. Number 5 is Murder on the Orient Express. It was deemed number 3 last week, number 5 this week. It made $13.8 million. It had made 51 of its $55 million budget. So far it's doing okay. It should expect to make its money back, but it will underperform. Now, Josh, are you listening?
Yeah.
And I don't know why you got your picture up.
Yeah, Murder. I just didn't want to wear my hat today. As I said, I'm feeling under the weather. And right now I feel like I have really bad vertigo. Like I feel like the world's just spinning. I'm being pulled down. So I don't need a hat. So like right now as I'm trying to talk, I just feel like I'm just being, yeah.
All right, so I've seen pieces of this movie, seen clips of it. It looked like a live version of the Polar Express for me. I don't know why.
It's a train and there's snow.
It looks just like that. It's weird. I heard it was okay though, but I don't know. Just something that's unappealing to me. But it's going so far okay in 2 weeks. I don't think it's gonna blow anybody away, but it is doing well for what it is. Here's the film I was hoping didn't do well, and so far it may underperform as well. Number 4. It was number 2 last week, number 4 this week. Daddy's Home 2.
Oh, God.
Did anybody remember Daddy's Home 1?
No. The only way I remember the first Daddy's Home is I haven't seen it. But in the theater, me and Brian saw Star Wars, The Force Awakens. Usually they'll have like IMAX posters for big movies. So after we got out of the Star Wars movie, we're like, okay, we'll pick up a couple of Star Wars posters. It was Daddy fucking home for some goddamn reason. So yeah,
Well,
that's
this
really
well,
why I loathe Daddy's Home. Like, I don't want to see that. I'm holding that against it.
How about you, Kat? You seen Daddy's Home 1?
I haven't seen anything since I went to see Pokemon. I haven't got out of the house.
So in other words, you were spared the Daddy's Home syndrome.
I would
It took
assume so.
home-
I've never heard of it.
That's good.
Okay.
It brought in 14.8 million. The budget is 69 million and made 50 million so far. So in 2 weeks, it has a chance to make his money back if it keeps on its average rate. Thor Ragnarok. They are dubbing this as a buddy comedy film. I can understand why. Released through Verlin Vision, aka Marvel Studios. Made another cool crisp 21 million. It was in first place last week, third place this week, which means that new contenders are in there. The film grossed already $247 million of a $180 million budget in 3 weeks. I don't think it's going to be any higher than the other two Thor films, but it definitely is made its money. And from what I understand, it's probably the most, fun of the 3 series. So that's actually a good thing, considering many people was tired of the Shakespearean theme that was in Thor 1, and somewhat was lost in Thor 2. You didn't see the movie yet, Josh. I'm surprised.
No, I haven't fucking gotten the goddamn chance because Dad hasn't said, hey Aaron, let's go to the movies, and I haven't had a day where I could just go to the movies by myself.
Okay. Well, they still got some time. This movie ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
I don't know.
Number 2, a new release called Wonder. I never know what the hell this is. It was released for Lionsgate Films. In its first week, it made $27,500. And there is no budget on this, so I can only assume that they're hiding it. But it did well for 27 million. That's not bad for the release of this movie. It was not going to be number 1 because the number 1 film, as you all know, is Justice League, which has a very impressive. I know DC Comics or the DCU is actually happy considering some of the stuff that's been going on with them lately. $96 million. This is despite mixed reviews, as one to expect. Even with the 2 directors that's been in charge of this film, Zack Snyder the first half, and I believe Joss Whedon the second half, it still managed to pull up a cool crisp $96 million in its opening week. Now, it didn't say the budget. I do not know why, but it was going to make its money back. So there you have it with the top 5 list, and we will get to that for a moment. I do have to talk about the other film that came out this week. Sony released The Star. That was the new release on that film. Some films that came out as independent film, Roman J. Ayers, Israel. The Breadwinner also came out this week on independent, Sweet Virginia. And that's pretty much it. It's been a slow week. That's one thing for sure. Other films that we will be mentioned here that also did not so well. Of course, Blade Runner is still in theaters. How many theaters exactly? 466, not bad. Medea, I can't stand this film. Medea 2. Boo 2, Medea Halloween is also in there as well. The Florida Project, Happy Death Day. They're all still in theaters if you want to get a chance. If you want to see it, Bad Grandpa, I can't believe still in theaters. I thought this film was already gone. So those are the movies that's still in theaters, and these are the films that made the top 5. But we don't want to talk about the top 5 now. We want to talk about the Avengers. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Joss Whedon syndrome. The Justice League.
I like you're the Avengers. You're like, I need to talk about a better film.
This film got mixed reactions. I do believe at the whole cycle, at the end of the day, Wonder Woman, which was portrayed awesome in this film, this was a CGI love fest. And if you see the movie, you'll understand what I mean. Bruce Wayne showing remorse that he basically killed Superman in this in the Batman v Superman. And from what I'm getting a feeling of, from what I was hinting, and it's sort of spoiler free and sort of not. Lex Luthor, who in the post end credits escaped Arkham Asylum, is forming another team of his own. So I don't think anybody who followed the comic books or the TV show that which I was forced to watch as a kid. I think we already know where this is where that new team is going to be formed as. The question is, will they actually go through with it? Because there has been numerous reports that the DCU is dead. So, did they film that was actually people actually think it was very good too late, or will they actually proceed as planned but just make every film separate from what they was doing with the original stage one of the DCU universe? Ladies, you can argue. I'll start with you,
Give a
Kat.
shit. Sorry.
Okay, you don't care about DCU. You're disqualified.
What was the question? I know we're talking about the DCU, but what am I answering?
The question is that there was a post-ending credit that hinted that Lex Luthor is going to form a team of his own. Now, for those who had followed the comic books and even the cheesy 1970 TV show, we should know what that team is going to be. The question is that the problem is that, according to reports, the way the DC universe is right now, it may be dead, and they may just press the reset button, which may put that scenario in limbo. The question is, should they continue hold on to that big reveal? Only they make every other film come after that a standalone film, or should they go and continue the path of knowing they didn't get off to a great start with the other DCU films they have in the past? I said a mouthful, I know.
Hang on while I process this. I would suggest that they like do a standalone film to try and tie up all the loose ends.
Mm-hmm.
I feel uneducated
Gotcha,
on
you
this
ain't saying-
subject.
I don't care. I'm sure they'll screw it up whatever they decide to do.
Hey, at least they brought Danny Elfman's theme of Batman back. That's the thing I loved.
Do you mean Danny Elfman? Oh, he did. Yeah. Okay, I didn't know if he did Superman or if he did.
Oh,
No, that's
I think he did Batman because of Tim Burton stuff, right?
Yeah,
There we
love
go.
that theme. It was in this movie, perfectly set up, suited. Even though it was a little nod wink, but I'll take it. Here's my thing, guys. I think the people now they got Joss Whedon on board, and for what I understand, Zack Snyder isn't fully out of the picture of movies to do with the DCU as probably a co-writer, co-producer. If you're gonna go forward, have it stand alone, but keep the premises. I think that having Lex Luthor and his team, which is the Legion of Doom, will be perfect. But don't try to two films. Spread it out. Keep in mind how many years it is that the Avengers has been around now, and how many years we haven't seen Thanos.
Oh god, that's great. His thing in the MCU seems to be sit on chair, speak threateningly, and be betrayed by everyone. That's his thing.
I mean,
In
Josh
Infinity
Brolin was
War, he'll get
he's
off
wait-
of his sorry ass and then get betrayed some other way.
Thanos was introduced in the first Avengers film. That was almost 7 years ago.
That was a really fucking long time ago.
I mean, we're thinking, oh, he's gonna be in the next one. No, he hasn't. No, we had this guy, Age of Ultron. Thanos was nowhere to be found in that movie.
He was sitting in his chair getting betrayed by someone or another. That's what he was doing.
Went through like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 films before finally we're gonna get Infinity War. They did the smart thing of saying Infinity War Part 1 and 2. That makes no sense. So they're gonna do the other Avengers film as a different title. But if you're gonna do this with the Justice League, where the Justice League meets their equal, okay, I have no problem with that. But do us a favor, flush out the story, make it more, appealing towards the young and old audiences. Stop promoting the rated R version because I think you already ticked off a lot of people with Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman, especially when the stuff you should have brought in should have been in theaters. And just plan going. You already hinted. Legion of Doom. Okay, fine. So I'm assuming Brainiac's going to be involved in some point or another. I'm assuming that Wonder Woman's arch nemesis, which for some reason she escapes my head right now. So bring it. I'm happy for it. I want to see Reverse Flash. I'm curious how they're gonna do Cyborg. I'm curious how they're gonna do Aquaman. If you're gonna do another Batman film, fine, but just have a game plan, and don't rush it. Because in case you don't know, the Dark Universe, which was a joke by itself, is dead.
It was dead before it stood.
Yeah, exactly. Because they didn't have a plan. Don't throw things in there. Just take your time. People want to see this movie. If you didn't want to see these movies, you wouldn't have made $94 million this now. And that's the unofficial numbers. It will go up by Monday. So, well, it's Monday in your country, but I don't have the euros and the pounds that they tell me here. We don't get the international receipts yet. But you get my point. And that's the whole thing. Start over. See, Josh Gunn is a Marvel Universe fan, so she's waiting for Panther. She's waiting for...
If the DCU gave anything, that I liked, I mean, I liked Wonder Woman. But then again, I wasted money to see Suicide Squad in theaters when the director's cut made the movie actually watchable. And so that's whenever, and I know with other DC EU films, that's the problem, that the theatrical cuts will suck, but you buy the good version at home. So that's a big reason why I didn't want to really jump into the DCU, because, okay, all I have to do is wait till it comes on to fucking Blu-ray.
And that's one of the main reasons why Enron, aka the Blockbuster, had blacklisted DCU, and rightfully so. I mean, you can't keep doing that and expect audiences to be patient. But again, people were waiting for years for a Justice League film. They finally saw it. The reviews are expected mixed, but it's not mixed to negative. It's actually mixed to positive. So it's not. There is something there. And you can build on that. You got a Wonder Woman film that was standalone, and that was actually well received critically, both on fans and by the reviewers and by the critics. I say reviewers because there are the internet reviewers, and then there's the traditional critics who actually rate these films. With that being said, I am actually kind of
a piece of information. I don't know whether I should announce it.
Go ahead.
Okay. I don't know how many people know this, but I have just been told that Ben Affleck is rumored to be replaced as Batman by either Ryan Gosling or Jake, what's his face, that plays Donnie Darko, I think.
Oh,
Jake
Gyllenhaal. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
a sexy
Oh my God.
beast.
Where did you hear this from? Now you got me searching.
My friend just
Let
told
me find
me.
out.
Yeah, I saw some articles on my Facebook news feed, but I never clicked on them because, again, I don't really care.
If it's true or not, right now.
Okay.
But if they, you know what, it wouldn't shock me because they are doing a shakeup. They are doing a shakeup. All right, let me see what it says. It says here, a couple of articles said, Ben Affleck may be out as Batman in more DC movies. Ben Affleck in the future in doubt as Batman. If Ben Affleck is out, Ben Affleck out as Batman, what representing him? I don't know why. He's actually done good. I mean, he was there to come to direct. I know he was supposed to direct it, and he was replaced by directors, so that may be one of the main reasons. But I think he's good. I can't see Jake Gyllenhaal as Batman. Come on now. Seriously? I'm looking at it. I'm gonna leave a link to you, Josh. I don't like going to an online service if it's not something I rely on. It's not the Huffington Post or Entertainment Weekly. I don't like to trust on it, but I'm going to give this one a shot because I can easily find out if they're actually just somebody's news or just something here. But I'm going to give it a shot. It says here, it's in courtesy of comingsoon.net. This is done by Christiana Jack on the 21st of July, 2017. So this is old. So this is not nothing new. You're telling us, Kat, but I don't see anything on there. You got it on, Josh, again?
No.
I put it on the side.
Well. Fine, I pull it up.
I got nothing, so nothing yet. Oh no, I'm getting a black screen, so stuff. All right, no big deal. All right, so if that happens, it won't shock me because they are doing a shakeup in the DCU department. But I would be sad to see him go. I think he betrayed a nice old season one out Batman. I think he betrayed it very, very well. Why would the brother want to replace him? I do not know. Are you sure that's right?
That's what I was told.
I'm hoping to get some information. You ain't telling me anything.
What?
The thing is slow. I got probably what it is. So let me just cut some of these tabs off. Reset the button. And while that's doing that, I'm going to get to the situation. This is our serious news. I have to talk about this. Josh, can you know about these alleged allegations that's been coming on in Hollywood from George Takei to Harvey Weinstein? Harvey Weinstein is obviously the big thing that's happening because it seems like a domino effect that has happened. So that has been hitting the news. And now it's gotten to be so rampant that we're hearing people that we never thought we'd be hearing. Radio show hosts is being accused, even politicians. It's gotten so bad, and even in Hollywood, mostly than politics, that LAPD is working overtime to handle these allegations. That's how flooded they are getting with these complaints and phone calls. That they even have done a joint venture with other people outside of their jurisdictions, basically sharing information and sharing reports. They're even investigating in New York about the Weinstein situation because of his ties to Hollywood. Basically, right now, it has just been a wild storm to the point where now maybe people saying is you gotta ask yourself whether these are accurate allegations to just being a witch hunt. I think it's a little bit of both. I understand why this is happening, but again, this is also got to be from the factors, and me and Kat talked about this. A lot of this has to do with the people, how much power they have, how much influence they have in their business, and how much it is actually, and how much they actually got away with it, and how much, let's be honest, the law enforcement had let them get away with it. Because with the Harvey Weinstein situation, this is something that I think a lot of people don't know, especially those who live in New York. There were charges brought up on him, but the prosecutor, despite the fact there was actually evidence, concrete evidence, the prosecutor himself said there was no evidence or not enough evidence, even though they caught him on tape confessing to what he did. Turns out a few moments later, down the road, it turns out that same prosecutor had gotten a donation from the Weinstein Foundation.
Oh my God.
Immediately, this is where the red flag came in and said, wait a minute, you didn't mention that you got money. That's a conflict of interest. And he's saying that had nothing to do with it. But then again,
bullshit.
That these guys, these prosecutors, they go after people over just a small. If they have a small slither of evidence, or just any evidence, they'll still pursue to the max. We've seen this. There's no question about it. So the fact is that this guy was very powerful and has very strong influence in politics. By the way, you're telling me that didn't play a role in your decision not to prosecute? So now that he's resigned, he's gone now. But now that that came to light, the police department has to be forced to reinvestigate these claims, and now there are more claims coming out. And this is where the domino effect is becoming because he fell, and it's only a matter of time that everybody else who had that same similar power than he did is falling one by one. So now we're seeing a joint venture where police officers, especially from LA and New York, are now sharing information, sharing complaints, basically building up a case. Now, keep in mind, all the complaints we're hearing, George Takei, Ryan Seacrest, Louis C.K., you have numerous stars from the past, even politicians. That we have yet to see the prosecutor come out and say we're pursuing charges from these claims. Now, I'm gonna let you ladies, because you ladies, obviously, I want to hear your opinion on this. One, should they pursue this? If anything else, if they can actually work out a charge. Two, can they charge them? And three, if they're not going to charge them, and I said this last week, in these allegations going up to the media. Kat, I'm gonna let you go first because you are so UK and laws are different from ours, but I'm pretty sure the feelings of these allegations are pretty much the same. So, what's your feeling? What do they feel they should be done if they're going to continue to gather information about this? And should LA be doing joint ventures outside of their jurisdiction?
At this point, I would say just do everything that's legal and like as safe as possible to get everything sorted and to get and to keep people like all the former and current and very likely future victims safe. Just
Okay.
do what you friggin' can.
Joshkin from Florida. You're not your state, by the way. None disrespect for those who live in Florida, but your state.
My state's a dick, but continue.
Your state has more of these. Your state has weird crimes, man. I mean,
We're sort of the Bermuda Triangle of the United States of America.
they be having weird. I mean, Kat, I'm gonna tell you right now. If you look at people robbing things like grocery stuff and put in their pants, that's Florida. That's all you need to know.
Okay, I think we had a
when I go there next year.
like I remember this story that I heard, and I'm like, oh God, please say it's not a Florida story, and it was a Florida story. This guy claimed he was Thor and was having sex with a tree.
Yeah, Kat, I mean,
Weird.
I don't do that. I don't have to claim I'm Thor.
I
And
know, but the rest of you are weird.
I don't know what's going on with Florida. I hear every time I turn around, I'm like, I was always wondering why. It's not Brad Nash. He does a radio show. What the F is wrong with you? It's a very good show. Him and his partner, and they always find Florida. I mean, I'm like, one day he's going to
there's always
sponsor
a
me. And
Florida story. There's always a Florida story.
I'm like, wow. They must be really bored. It must be nothing to do in Florida that they have to go through all that stuff. I mean, Jesus. But with you being a Floridian,
Oh, thank you.
what's your feeling on this about what I just we said?
I think we have to be careful of believing allegations because in our current climate, it's always, oh, you must be anti-woman or something if you go, hey, let's take a moment and look at these claims. Or like anti-victim. And it's like people will make shit up. You know, we don't everyone sadly is not a good citizen, and everyone sadly doesn't always report the truth. Some people want 15 minutes of fame. Maybe some people want to smear the name of someone. So you do have to be careful. I mean, with George Takai, that is a total fucking
I'm
bullshit
suspect with that. I'm
allegation.
sorry.
Because the source, it seems that the source was not really reliable, and then people are like, oh, look at what he said on the Howard Stern show. And I guess Howard Stern was just, a show
Stern.
you just was Stern. Sorry. As I said, I must be coming down with something because I've been having vertigo for like the past few days, and before it was like maybe a few hours a day in the evening. Now it's like whenever. So sorry for some, but anyways, Howard Stern. I guess that's that guy's show was one where he sort of weren't exactly serious. And George Takai said that the recordings people found were from that show and explained how he, why he did what he did on the show. And the show was not his real personality. It was just a persona, I guess, because I guess that's how people did stuff on that show. But I look at George Takai, and while I don't agree with him 100% on everything, like there's a few times I've looked at stuff he's posted on Facebook and just rolled my eyes. But he's not the guy to get involved in this shit.
Again, like I said, this is nothing. Allegation like this, nothing new. Bill Cosby, another other high celebrities has gotten this before. My feeling is in this. Like I said, it, you hit and Cat hit it right in the head here. Do it illegally if there is a ground, because I don't think there's any statute of limitation. If you're gonna do it right, fine. But don't do it and just for the sake of selling papers. Keep in mind, the press is going to report anything about anyone, regardless if it is true or not. All right, and this is something that has got to be very, very careful, because the press sometimes can hinder a case or can make it a lot worse than what it really is without actually doing facts. Like I said, Daily News had the front page of Scum and all these stars that was listed. And I'm like, wait on a second. Do we even have any proof of any of this? Do we have any response? We know Louis C.K. came out and confessed what he did. It's sad to hear that. We understand that Harvey Weinstein, but you have a lot of people here that didn't even has flat out denied. Ryan Seacrest said it's absolutely not true. Georgia K is actually shocked about it. Before you go out and ruin public opinion, make sure that the police department, the ones who are supposed to investigate, do their job and do it well. And again, if the prosecutor feels there's a justification for charges, and I think that's the key thing here. If the cops are doing this for the sake of seeing if any crime was committed, then they have to do their job right. And the prosecutor has to make sure they don't make the sinful mistake of rushing to prosecute before all the evidence and all the facts are actually collected, which is something that the prosecutors from New York, Carolina, everywhere around the U.S. that I've had done, and it always came back to backfire. Being said, I think the LAPD is doing it right. They're not, going through that red tape nonsense. They are sharing information because, again, this is very, very serious. More serious than the fact is that these guys has very strong influence. Here, the more money you have, the more power you got. And these guys have very, very strong power. And as always, when we hear great power comes great responsibility, the same can be said with great power also comes a chance to actually be corrupted by that power or feel that you are above it all. I say it like it is. And this is why I get really angry with our society. It seems like we tend to hold a lot of these guys with money in a higher pedestal than they really should be. And as a result, we're seeing some of the consequences about this. You're human. You're bound to make mistakes. You're bound to do some things that we're not proud of. Up there saying that they're supposed to be perfect all the time. Nobody's perfect. I don't care how much money they have. Josh, what's your take? Whatever.
I think you were just continuing the points we had made previously. Just-
So let's move on. Cat, you there? You gotten silent, Cat.
Yes, I
Cat.
am.
Okay. I'm going to UK mode before we go to our casting couch. Because you're in the UK. So you get to get the UK news and hear the UK rumors. What's
I
going
would
on
say
in
that, but
Buckingham?
I really don't. I am that isolated. I do not join in on this fun stuff which you speak
Oh,
of.
oh no, you don't hear this. I have questions of the UK that you can only answer. I cannot answer myself. I don't live in the UK. I see postcards.
I
That's
don't
as close
even
as I
see
can get.
postcards.
The closest I got to actually touring UK was in a video game because they had a tour mode.
Ooh.
So yes, I forgot the game. It was a horrible game. It was a Grand Theft Auto wannabe. That's how bad it was. Um, but it did spark a curiosity when I actually was memorizing this because I'm actually kind of curious about certain things, and only you can answer this. I bring
Oh boy.
I bring the first question to you.
No pressure.
No pressure. No, it's all UK stuff, and to your best ability to answer it. All right. How much country is it versus city or town that the United Kingdom have? Because I know it's not a um big country. I know that thanks to epic rap battle
Well, it
history.
still takes a few hours to get to places depending on where you want to go. Because
Okay.
if you're good at driving, or you can drive long distances, it will take you a full day to get to Scotland if you're starting down the bottom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know it would take a whole day. I thought it would take like 6 hours the whole day.
Oh, it depends on traffic as
No,
well.
I'm serious. Uh huh. What's the nation's capital, may I ask?
London.
Oh, London is. I thought it was Wales for some odd reason.
Wales?
Wales
No, I
is
serious. I thought it was
is the
Wales.
country we are connected to, and Wales' capital is Cardiff. And I
Okay.
can't, and I think Scotland's is Glasgow, but my memory could be failing me. They might have changed it in the past few years. You know what they like? They like their independence.
Okay. Um, question. Actually, that's number three now because you answered one of the questions. I actually was kind of surprised. That's actually pretty interesting. I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know. I thought London was one of the cities. I didn't know it was the capital. Now I know.
I didn't know it was the capital, but it really makes sense.
Um. So I'm assuming that Buckingham Palace is in London.
It is. I have been there.
Do they still got the soldier that stands still?
Yes, they still have all the beefeaters that take turns.
Okay, because I'm always fascinated. They can't move. They can't. I know tourists be giving them a hard time trying to make the move.
They are very well trained.
Obviously.
I can't do that. Stand there and not move. That's like
I can't sit and not move. I can't. Like, I tried to prove to Revs early on that I could do it, and he's like, Aaron, you just seem, Josh, you just seem really, really unnatural doing that. Because I guess I seemed really fucking creepy when I can make myself perfectly still.
all right.
I'd like to
This is
see
more of a myth. This is more of a myth busting because I don't buy that that's possible. Is it true, at least until in the past, that that constables and constables are police officers in the UK didn't carry guns?
I
Absolute
actually
silence.
don't know.
That's classic.
I actually don't know. When I think of like olden police constables, I do think of them with truncheons, but I don't know when they started having guns. But I know that like we're not as trigger happy as you guys. We tend to use either dogs or tasers.
Are they cute dogs? Sorry. Oh
Well,
my
it
God.
depends. If you think of a big, of a big ferocious German Shepherd cute, because it's
They're
doing its
cute.
job. Yes, they
They're
are when
cute.
they're
All
not on the
dogs are
job.
cute. They're cute even when they're on their job. They're good doggies doing their duty.
Yes, they are.
All right. So we got that. How is Edinburgh an island?
Eh?
Edinburgh, or is it just the name of a college?
Edinburgh is a city, I do believe. I think it's. Hang on, I'm just trying to map this out in my head because I'm crap at mapping things out. I think it's. I want to say it's more Scotland way, but I don't really know that much about the city. So I
Okay.
think I'm pretty sure it's a city.
Okay.
I'm just gonna
How
say it's
many?
up north and take a wild guess.
Mhm. What is the Ferris wheel in London?
That's
What's
the
the deal
London
with that?
Eye. That's the London Eye. It's a
Okay.
sightseeing thing.
Does it still work?
Yes, as far as I know, yes. I know that Big Ben or Westminster Palace or whatever name it has now, the big bell that everybody knows goes dong on the hour. That is under renovations currently, so that's fun. That's apparently not being used for anything except special occasions like New Year's, which is weird.
All right, and it's not obvious everybody know that that the people drive on the left side, not on the right side of their steering wheels on the left side, not on the right side. I hope I'm saying that right, huh? I am
We
kind of
drive on
curious
the
about
left side
something
of the
else.
road.
Is where do they drive? Do they drive on the opposite side of the street? Like for us, I think we drive on the. Josh, what we drive on the right or left?
You
We
guys drive on the
got
right.
to.
We drive
Yeah,
on
We
the
right.
drive on the
left.
right.
Or as
Okay.
people in England would say, on the wrong side of the road.
Yes.
All right, so we learning something new. How many islands make up the UK?
How many what?
How many islands make up the UK?
I
Because it
don't
is called the
understand the
United Kingdom.
question, sir.
There's different islands
Oh,
that makes up.
islands.
Yeah.
I would say we are all one big island, and then there's like our little bit of Northern Ireland, or like all of Northern Ireland, which is like a sixth of the Ireland island, and then we have a bunch of little Scottish islands. I don't know how many. But I think if you're
Okay.
just talking about the UK in general, we are just one big island. Well, I say big because we
Okay.
can like fit like 20 of us into the entirety of America, apparently.
All right. So here's the next question. Does the Prime Minister works across the street from Buckingham Palace, or does he have a whole new place that he has to uh, to do business in?
The Prime Minister tends to work in Westminster Palace, which is the Houses of Parliament, or right by the Houses of Parliament. That is quite a ways away from Buckingham Palace, but it is still in the same city. You can see it
Okay.
from the London Eye, let's just put it that way.
All right. And
It's
to
across
make
the
it very
Thames,
okay,
the
that's
river,
cool.
the
So
big river, the Thames.
gonna throw this out because many people don't understand this. That everybody celebrates our holidays. They don't celebrate Martin Luther King Day, no George Washington's birthday, no Abraham
No,
Lincoln's birthday,
no.
no any of the president's birthdays here. I don't know about Columbus. I
I
don't know if
don't
you guys.
think so, because I never heard of it until I was watching films, and then I was just there like, who's that? I don't know who that
And
is.
and ironically, one of the newer holidays, and I say that because it was Abraham Lincoln himself who initiated Thanksgiving as a holiday. You don't celebrate that either.
Instead, we
Okay.
have Bonfire Night on November the 5th.
Okay. So, how many holidays total do the UK celebrates?
I think as a whole, New Year's, Easter, Bonfire Night and Christmas, I think it might just be them four, but I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You're never wrong.
So
I
it's
don't
safe to say
think
you don't
so.
celebrate the oldest holiday that became more of a commercial here in the U.S. You don't celebrate Old Hallows Eve.
Oh yeah, we do celebrate Hallows. Yeah. That's 5 then. I'm sorry, ignore me.
I'm not going to ignore you.
See, I was wrong.
You're never wrong.
I was wrong just then. Shush.
Sort of wrong, not wrong, wrong.
Carry on.
What do they call? Is it true they call apartment flats? I know I'm saying it wrong.
Oh, flats. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I was just waiting for my brain to translate what you
That's
said.
okay.
I thought you were talking about shoes, and then I was just there like, that's not right. Oh, apartment and flats. Yes, flats. Yes, we have flats here.
What do they call a street or a sidewalk?
Pavement or curb.
That's kind of funny because we call pavement when we hit the floor. That sounds like what they just call pavement. It's a television set is what it's called. What they call it in the UK.
TV or telly.
Telly. Okay, that sounds nice. Telly. I already know what a bar is called in the UK. It's a pub,
Yeah.
and surprisingly, that name is getting around more and more because a lot of Irish bars are opening up in New York more than ever. They don't even call bars; they call them pubs, which is
Right.
cool. I'm kind of. What else I wanted to know? A window. I'm pretty much say the window, huh?
Yeah. I know that what you guys call a flashlight is a torch here, whereas a torch
Really?
to you guys is the medieval fire on a stick.
I knew about the torch thing because I have read Chronicles of Narnia and seen the movies.
Yeah, you got some education.
Yay!
What do they call? So I guess what the car's a car, obviously.
A truck is
I've
a
sub-
lorry.
Is it?
A truck is called a lorry here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Glad we call it truck here because I'm thinking line
It's
up.
a lorry.
All right. So a tube is a subway station over there.
That would be underground here.
You still have double decker buses as regular transportation. We have them
Yes.
as tour buses.
Oh.
Yeah, we have they're tour buses, double deckers. Gray Line. I don't know if Gray Line still runs in the UK, but I know if that's the way it originally came from. What do they call boats or ferries? Do you even guys have ferries?
Yeah. It's more if you want to get from the British Isles to somewhere in one of the Scottish Isles, but yeah, we don't tend to. I don't think we tend to use them for rivers and stuff here, because really the only river I think would be even slightly big enough would be the Thames, but I think the Thames mainly just does like transport ships.
And now I have to ask you the Mr. Bean question.
Oh boy.
In the episode of Mr. Bean, he rented an apartment. In this apartment, he had a coin slot. He put coins in this slot so he could get electricity. So he's basically paying, for electricity, but by using coins instead of going to Con Edison. Do they still got those type of buildings like that?
I don't know. Probably somewhere, but we've probably modernized most of them now.
Okay,
Go.
so
Dad, go.
Sorry.
Sorry. I texted him saying, yeah, I'm doing a podcast, but of course he must have accidentally not read that, so ta-da. So we have to come in.
Tell him Well, tell me, we still got some time left. Tell me to get over here and start talking to me.
No, no, not Dad. No, Dad, not Revs. If Revs was over here, yeah, I'd pull his sorry ass over here and then, why the fuck did you give me that goddamn Walking Dead spoiler of who died, you fucking bastard? Oh, I don't care if you're sad.
I
Well,
stopped.
excuse
What's
you,
going?
sir.
Well, look, Glenn is dead. That's all I need to know.
No, it's just that it was like, I am sort of a pro at avoiding certain spoilers.
And then the ones you love do it for you.
Yes, I know. It's like this one goddamn time, and like I was still sad at the character's death, but the thing I was waiting the whole goddamn episode for that death.
Okay, well, we're not talking about the Walking Dead, although we will be doing a movie review of one of the Living Dead movies, so get ready for that soon. With that being said, we got to do a casting couch, and then we're gonna be doing our shameful promotions, and we out of here. Pokemon, once we talked about a two-parter, we now get to do a casting call. If they do a grittier, which I don't see as long as 4K's on it. If they decide to go with a Pokemon Live movie, our choices for who to play the characters should be as followed. And like I said, they're all pushing it because Pokemon Go was such a phenomenal, crazy success. They say, hey, we can make a live action film of this. I don't know how they're going to do it, but if they're going to do it, what young stars should able to take the role of these famous characters? All right, so let's just start with the voice of Meowth, because I think that is a very significant character that has a particular love for fans who feel Meow was one of my second characters. So the question is, who would you want to voice that character? Bear in mind, this is just for fun. We don't have to go crazy. You can pick any actor you want.
An actual cat.
I volunteer.
Well, why not one of the Animorphs morph a cat and morph a Meowth and ta-da. There, we got a casting.
Wait. I don't know many. I don't know many actors with a Brooklyn accent or who can do a Brooklyn accent, so I don't
Mark
know.
Wahlberg? I'm just throwing names out at this point.
Why would it be a Brooklyn accent? I don't remember Cat sounding Brooklyn. I'm a New Yorker and a Brooklynite. That's not how Brooklynite speaks.
Okay, you're Meowth.
I volunteer to have. I vote to have him voice Meow.
Josh, do you have any ideas who you want to voice? I already got my voice actor down packed.
I don't know. I don't care. I have no. I'm horrible with casting calls to begin with.
Well, have fun. It could be any actor. Let's throw one out there.
I'll just keep Mark Wahlberg because he can do comedy.
You know who I picked? The girl who played Independence Day.
Ooh.
The little girl, the girl who played the president's daughter in the first Independence Day movie. And do you want to know why?
Yes, please.
Why?
She's a voice actress. She was also the same voice that's from The Last Airbender, who played that girl who fell in love with Aang.
Katara?
Yep.
I don't even watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. I knew that.
I've
It's a damn
only seen
shame.
the first bunch of episodes.
You did see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the animated series, right? I'm assuming you saw the Nickelodeon version.
A few episodes of that.
She played April O'Neil.
I'm a disappointment, I know. But we don't get Nickelodeon here.
You don't?
Not in our house.
You gotta have some. Wait, you must have some. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix, so you don't have to worry about it.
We can't even
All right.
get Netflix here. Yeah.
We got a tablet. I thought Netflix was universal.
Yes, but,
I'm
yeah, but 3 megabytes of internet doesn't allow you to have something
yes.
big like Netflix.
Megabytes of. Wait, how many megabytes do Netflix take? I gotta look that up.
I don't.
'Cause I got it on my
know, but
computer.
we can't support that sort of thing. Heck, we're barely supporting being able to do this. I'm doing nothing else with the internet just so I can do this.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how crap it is.
You need to contact your representatives of Britain and say, "Yo, man, step up your bandwidth."
We've been
We're
doing
behind on
that
the
for a
ball.
decade. We are in the sticks. They will not put up our internet if we do not live in a town.
Wow.
We we do
Well,
have
I guess
rumors,
we
but
should
I
move
don't
on.
believe them.
I'm gonna put these two together, Jesse and Jane.
Because apparently they are both supposed to be 15 years old.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to fucking age them up. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
go for it. I always
I
thought
don't know.
they
Because
were like
for me, it
18.
has to be a cute sort of couple that plays off each other.
Yeah.
You know, that definitely sort of antagonistic but loving vibe.
Wait a minute. You're not gonna go by. You're gonna be basing it on the Japanese version where I thought they were brothers and sisters.
Oh, okay. I guess we're. I didn't know they were brother and sister. I just thought they were a cute little couple there, and I don't mind shipping incest. So, oh.
I thought they were literally like just put together by their boss at the time, not Giovanni.
Oh,
Let me tell you.
how about this? We named them Cersei and Jamie. Okay.
You're gonna be. Are you one of these guys that actually felt that Jane was bisexual? Were you one of those people that kept on putting up?
Who was
I never
bisexual?
noticed. I never
Jane.
noticed, honestly.
Oh, because the way he was speaking, the same guy who did Pegasus is the same guy who did Jane's voice, which is kind of
Yeah,
weird
I
because
think.
it's kind of weird
Actually,
because
no, I
considering
think I'm wrong.
it's weird because when you hear their name, it's like, isn't Jesse supposed to be a man's name and Jane supposed to be a woman's name, and they got it in reverse? But maybe it's just me. Nobody got a clue how to
They were actually based off of the cowboy Jesse James.
Oh, really?
Cowboy.
That's probably what it is.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay,
Same thing with Butch and Cassidy. Butch Cassidy was a famous cowboy person.
Yeah, it was Outlaw. Bruce Cassidy and Son That Kid. That's Western history.
Yeah, that one.
I will say, if I'm gonna pick the two, I'll have fun with it. I'll pick Amanda Seyfried as Jesse. I will pick that kid. Why? What's wrong with Amanda Seyfried? I'm not talking about.
No.
I'm talking
I
Haley
just like you.
Steinfeld.
No, I just said you said little kid. That's what I was laughing at. What is the little kid?
No. I said little. Really?
Yes, you said little. That's why I scoffed.
Okay. Haley Steinfeld as Jesse. I'm not Haley Steinfeld. The other one, Haley Steinfeld, who played in True Grit. Yeah, she's one of my favorite young actors growing up. I will have to pick this guy. The same guy who's in Stranger Things. I'll go with an older brother, younger. I forgot the guy. I don't know the kid's name. Just to look to play it. He plays like a bully type character. He's in season 2, by the way.
I don't watch Stranger Things. I don't have Netflix streaming.
Yes, you do. You got the ghetto version.
No, I do not.
Yes, you
Whatever.
do.
Okay.
You watch Game of
Still
Thrones.
not going to be. Nothing you say is only going to make me be able to watch it. It's like, you could do this. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, he's the one I'm picking. What are you picking? Are you gonna CGI them?
Not CGI. Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence, because they have teamed up on multiple movies together, so I'm sure that they actually have chemistry there. They can work off of each other.
Wow. I think she's tired of playing hero roles nowadays.
I know, but I'm just saying, as I say, I'm not good at this casting couch bullshit. So. I'm not good.
All right, so my question is, how old do you want to make Ash? Cat.
10.
Yeah, that was quick. You, Josh?
I don't care. Whatever the best actor is.
Come on, you gotta. The kid's gonna be wandering around the woods by himself for almost a year. You gotta have at least have an age difference. I know there's a
Okay,
different universe.
he's
If we're
18.
starting with the rules, if we're starting with
Good.
the
Don't
rules,
start with the rules.
I don't know what you guys talking
Hey,
about.
trainers
Shh, quiet,
will
quiet, James. What are you trying to say, Kat?
take two. If we're going with the rules of how the universe starts, um, um, then the trainer starts as soon as possible after they turn 10, and I can tell you that Ash was almost 11 when he started, so but he was kind of like late to start his, but like that's kind of like me having a birthday before the school term starts instead of everybody else who was like after the school term, if that makes sense.
Okay. Like I said, I didn't know they established a rule like that, but then again, I wasn't that big into Pokemon like that either. I just find it funny that this kid's wandering around the woods for a year, and this is okay for everybody. But that's the world of Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think 10 is just fine. I think it gives it more of an innocent feel, even though in one of the episodes I saw one of the characters have a gun. That's just me. Uh, four kids, I love you. If I'm gonna pick it again, I have to pick a young actor that is known. My original feeling is yes, I'm boring you, Josh.
No, I just was about to yawn. Just nothing to do with
You-
you. It's just I'm, out of it
Hey,
today.
I heard. I know you're out of it. You've been playing too many Pokemon Go. You had a great podcast, which we didn't get to, by the way. That got you so drained. How many hours you did to that podcast?
It was all the thing was there was an hour or two before the podcast of getting the people there. Then
I was panicking like hell.
Yeah, I was in a state of panic where I was calm. That's how panicked I was. I was completely calmed. I was so stressed out. And then was the actual filming of we didn't really understand the rules.
That was my fault. I didn't read through them before.
No, I should have asked you.
Wait a
I
minute.
should have asked you more,
this a
Kat. So then by the end, I'm just like, I'm worried about my computer. I'm stressed out, and I'm just like, fuck it.
So wait a minute. I thought there was one big happy.
It was happy. It was with extra happy, and we were having fun. We sang "I Believe I Can Fly" at one point.
We started singing the Pokemon theme at one point, so we brought Pokemon into Animorphs, and I'm very
You guys,
that.
you just went from Animorphs podcast to just doing other stuff that had nothing to do with Animorphs.
No, we did Animorphs. We were playing the board game. I had to set up my laptop and board so I could actually film the board with the little camera I have on my laptop. That can't be removed, so I figured that out. And then I had to sit on the floor. And I kept on moving to sort of stretch my knees every now and again. But the moment I got up, really got up, oh my God, I was in like every single little movement was in pain for like 10 or 15 minutes.
You couldn't put this on the table?
No, I didn't really have I might have been able to put a clear space off on the kitchen table, but I was unsure when Dad would come home. And there's no real table space in the study to do that.
What about your room?
There's a bed, and plus the outlets, all the outlets don't work. There's like one outlet that works, but I sort of need an extension cord if I was going to, put my laptop in there.
Oh, man.
So yeah, this is all the shit I have to deal with. That's why come Sunday, I'm like, I could, but I usually don't really want to do podcast Sundays anyways. And then when I had like added stress, I'm like, I'm just going to fall over dead now. But
What makes you feel better? We only got 2 episodes before we go on our mini vacation.
okay.
We're not doing a Thanksgiving episode.
Oh yeah,
I don't
I'll
even know where
be.
you're gonna be at this.
Oh god, yeah, I was going to goddamn tell you when I was coming over. Hang on, let me get my not my podcast phone. This is called a phone air, Josh. It's called a. I'm going to be getting there on Tuesday and leaving Sunday.
Wait, hold on a second. Are you talking about you going to New York on Tuesday? Because I know you ain't
No,
coming to see me.
no, I'm going to go down to my mom's.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
okay. I'm about to say. I'm like, wait, you didn't say you was coming over here
I
to
would
see
have
me.
made plans with you beforehand.
I know. Like I said, we don't do podcasts on holidays. I'll be too busy cooking a turkey and eating it.
I'll be too busy dealing with my family.
So, and Kat, well, she just will be watching old films of RoboCop.
Yes, if I can, yes.
All right, so we're gonna skip this because nobody has any clues of what the Pokemon movie. But just to do what to ask, I didn't get you to ask the question. Would you be willing to watch a live action Pokemon movie based on Pokemon Go?
Oh, okay. The most important question: how much beer am I getting? That could affect my answer. Because I find
I'm
Dracula
on the
now.
fence, honestly. I mean, I'll give it a watch just to experience it, but I don't think I'm willing to have as much of an open mind with this.
I see. You'd be more critical with the live action film than you would be for the animation film because the live action films they have yet to make a live action film based on a video game work.
Yeah, it's basically going to be a live action film based on a video game based on a franchise that's already got existing video games. So it's a bit.
Mhm. All right, so it's fair enough. Okay, before we head out, we do have some information that we got to give for you. Josh, I need to know this. I have to know this, so that way when we do this review, you've seen this movie. Have
Oh,
you
what
seen
movie?
Night of the Living Dead?
Oh shit, which one?
I just said it. Night of the Living Dead, the original
The
version.
original? The original, okay. Because there's different Night of the
I
Living
know.
Dead. I might get confused. I know I have not seen the original.
Okay. Have you seen Return of the Living Dead?
You mean the parody comedy things?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
one.
I've seen like the first, second, and third of those, maybe.
Remember the first one.
The first one, yeah. I think they were. There were. I remember I saw the first one first when I was very young, and then again where I was older. Well, when I was younger, I remember the part where things start getting brought back to life, and there's this little sort of dissected dog there.
Okay, you've seen the movie.
And then it sort of moves, and I just sort of left the room. I'm like, no, like because nowadays I can stomach horror, but that little dog for some reason when I was younger I was like, nope, I'm out, fuck this shit. So when that part came in the movie again, when I watched it with Revs, I was like prepared to run out, just hoping that didn't happen because I had my fiance watching.
I'm sure he would have understood.
I know, but still,
Have you seen?
harass each other about stupid shit, so I wouldn't be hearing the end of that anytime soon.
Have you seen Return of the Living Dead?
Are you talking to me? I haven't
Yeah.
seen any of them.
Okay, so that's out of the picture. So that's two movies knocked down.
Well,
Sorry.
it's a little doggy that just moved in. Like, fuck this shit! No! Help! Sorry.
Have any one of you seen Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yes, I've seen Raiders
No.
of the Lost Ark. You haven't?
My boyfriend plans on getting me
You
all
better
these
fucking
films
watch
that I
it.
haven't watched.
I'm losing this war, man.
Plans
I
on
gotta
it
find
so that
something.
I can finally see them.
Okay,
Okay.
I gotta find something that you've seen.
The Animorphs TV show, Cat.
Well, we already did the review on that. We're going
My
back.
memories are very fuzzy on it, but go ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
It's basically
Have any one of you seen? I'm going to the bottom of the barrel right now. Charlotte's Web.
I've seen the animated version.
I've seen the
Okay,
live
that's good
action
enough.
version.
How is it?
We're breaking the host. Come on, give us more ammunition. I'm loving this.
This is weird. One saw the live, one saw the anime. Neither one saw the other version. That's amazing.
Hey,
All right.
have you seen the animated version of Animal Farm?
No.
I haven't heard about that.
Live action version, though.
Oh, God damn it!
Wait,
Ernest
I'm
Saves
sorry, we were
Christmas.
showed that in
I'm going back
school.
to re-review now. Ernest Saves Christmas.
No, haven't seen that. Don't want to.
You didn't, it's a classic. You're missing what out. Santa
Obvious-
Claus the movie.
The Santa Claus?
Movie.
Hmm.
I'm losing this war.
Yeah,
Um,
I've seen with Tim Allen.
No, we're not talking about that. Tim, I know the respect, but I hated your Santa Claus trilogy, though. I'm escaping the joke.
I only count the first one there. I don't pay attention to the other two pieces of shit.
Okay. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
that's one.
very distant memory, but yeah.
Okay, then we're doing Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh,
All right.
This
Found
is
something. That's good.
we're getting somewhere. Hooray!
This is
We're going to review Honey, I Shrunk the Kids as a retro review. Spoiler and everything.
I hardly
can't promise
remember
I
it,
can
but
rewatch it.
I hardly remember it. But yeah, I've seen it. I can say it's a movie.
Okay.
I can say that I've definitely seen it. I just cannot promise that I can watch it before next week, unless someone gets.
All
it
right.
on
So
DVD.
what I will do is, I'll do it 2 weeks in advance. The second week of December.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm being fair. All right. So there you go. All right. I'll do the rumor thing, and then I'll let you guys do your little promotion.
We did our little thing.
I can't believe I went through 5 films before finally somebody actually saw something.
Welcome to my film library. I've barely seen anything.
All right, so here's some of the topic that's been going on here. We'll start with certain films that is going to come out. Like I said before earlier, Hollywood is now exercising releasing films not in the U.S. first, but all the way overseas as far as Mexico and China. A film that has not came out in the theaters yet, Coco, whatever the hell that is. It's Pixar's latest film. I haven't seen the trailer. That's why I said I don't know what the hell it is. It looks like a Mexican guitarist. That's all I can see. It looks like he's just turned into a skeleton. But from what I understand, it's gotten huge praises so far and has done extremely well in Mexico. This is actually good news because for years they've been tapping in to international waters more so than the U.S. waters. This is why you notice some of the Transformer movies have themes that is not U.S. but in China, Japan, and even this UK because they figure they will make their money back more in those regions than in the United States, and they are pushing it more and more with other major blockbusters films. Hollywood is reaching out to these audiences a lot more. Keep in mind there have also been stories of films that are being released in other countries that are not going to be released here unless they actually have a good reception. Okay, Woody Woodpecker is being released in Brazil, and this is a live hybrid animation film. Those who've seen Yogi Bear and Rocky and Bullwinkle is similar to that. So they're being released with Brazilian actors in Brazil. Rumors have it if it does well there, it could come over here in the U.S. So that's been the biggest thing. there has been reports that they are going to go forward despite some of the bad reviews that this film have of another Triple X movie. Keep in mind, Triple X. Yep.
So you just woke me up from the middle of a goddamn yawn. Why? Because the last one everyone wanted. The second one did too good. The third one no one wanted. I don't really care about the Triple X movies. I'm just looking at, the receptions I've seen of people that do care about the series.
Well, if some people cared enough because number one, it grossed total $300 million. So they're not gonna let that go anytime soon. So, like I said, it may just be the international and the U.S. combined. Because you're right, the Triple X didn't do gangbusters in the United States, counting international waters. So that could be possible that there is being done. There has not been confirmed. I actually been looking it up. So I'm telling to my friend who watched this at a later time. It hasn't been confirmed or denied that the third Thor movie that came out is the last. I will say this, that most of the actors and actresses that are signed up for this Marvel Cinematic Universe are coming to an end. And it may be the fact is that a lot of these actors and actresses may not renew their contract pretty much after the next Avengers film. In fact, they actually do, according to reports, do have a stop date for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that is 2026. So that may be the reason for that. They may continue with other movies, but in terms of it linking to the Avengers, it does sound like it's going to end with the last Avenger film, which doesn't have any title. But what we do know is that they are banking a lot on the Black Panther film because this is the first time we have a true film. Not really the first film, but a true film that has an African American as the lead character, as the hero. Keep in mind they have attempted this with Shaquille O'Neal. Steel. I don't want to remember that film.
Sorry, I have my question.
The song was. I'm sorry. I was actually, though you can't see me, which is good. I've been sort of dancing along to a few of the songs in the background.
I've only just.
I know.
I've only
guys
just
singing,
heard
right?
it.
Listen, I can't control what Starbucks does. This is on Starbucks time, all right? They got it loud. They got it blasting. I'll beat that. I'll take that.
Beat that.
Any day,
Just beat that. Beat
that. I'm surprised you can hear with this small microphone here. So in any case, that has been the story of the event of the cinematic universe. It is, from what I do understand, unless there's any changes, there is a stop date. They don't even look like they stop with the movies in general, but in terms of the cinematic universe, there's a stop date. So in case we don't know anything about the next Thor film, it's probably because number one, they probably won't be in a Thor film, but they'll probably be just cameos or appearances with the Avengers assembling again. Keep in mind, it hasn't been an Iron Man film almost 5-6 years, but he's still in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, doing what he does best, making appearances. Now go on to the other rumors. Since you brought up Michael Jackson, I have been keeping.
Starbucks brought up Michael Jackson, but anyways.
Well, you're singing his song, so now I get to bring it up. No, I do not know if they're going to continue with that dumb idea of making a Michael Jackson film in the UK or places and make Michael Jackson a white man. So I don't know. All right. Yeah. You didn't get the news about that one, did you?
I'm glad I didn't. Sure said I got on air.
Yeah, the family was not happy about that.
I don't blame them.
James Bond, they do have a date for the new James Bond film, 2019. This will pretty much make it the longest wait we have to wait for another James Bond film. This was due to the fact that we didn't know Pierce Brosnan. I still got him as one of my favorite Bond characters. Just because we don't know if Daniel Craig was coming back or not. It's been an off again. It has been confirmed by multiple reports that he is going to revive his role as James Bond. He is going to take less risk though, because he's not going to do as much stunt work. And this is on the advice of his wife, Rachel Weisz, who, let's be honest, if you've been hearing the news, Daniel Craig has gotten injured more than any of the Bond characters combined. He had his fingers. And this guy was getting beat up. He had his tooth broken. One of his fingertips got sliced off.
Oh, wow!
Ow!
You didn't know that
Are
part.
you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding. He hurt himself. He was doing most of his stunts. So,
Jesus Christ, okay then.
I,
I'm sorry, I don't
in
need
many
to say
ways,
that.
Okay.
so I cannot blame the man if he wants to quit at that point. I mean, he's still getting kind of dangerous, but he is going to.
Sliced up. I think I'll take a break from
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I think I'm just gonna say fuck no right now.
I'm going to say fuck no. Goodbye.
Adios.
But like I said, people they don't want to let him go. They consider him to be a favorite Bond. A lot of people are not happy with it, not because they don't think he's bad. I think a lot of people agree that he is a good Bond, a more grittier Bond. But I think that the people behind the Bond production is actually selling themselves short because of the fact is they doing exactly what they did with Roger Moore when it was very clear that he either outplayed his role or just gotten tired of doing it. This is the same thing with Sean Connery. Let's be honest. I love the first three Bond films. I think my favorite one in terms of popcorn value was You Only Live Twice, which, by the way, was written by the same guy who did Factory, but that's kind of weird. And Matilda, didn't know that until I actually read up on it. But you can tell that these actors get tired, they get bored, and begin to hate the franchise. Now, Roger Moore's the only one, God rest his soul, because he recently passed away last year, who actually kept a good rapport with the studios. Not to say with everybody else, though, and that's including Daniel Craig, who seems loathe the fact of him being looked on as Bond. But when you see what happened with the Dragon Tattoo and other roles he had picked over the years, keep in mind, he hasn't really made a big hit other than Bond. So, again, I'm happy he's coming back, but I think they should start looking in the future, beyond 2019, to start looking for a replacement for Daniel Craig pronto.
Suddenly, I want, I will admit I haven't seen very many James Bond films, but how about doing, like, one of these films, like, where he, like, has to, like, train an apprentice to take over for him?
They tried it already. You know what it was called?
What?
Casino Royale, 1969.
Oh! I was just going to say, I've seen that one, and then it's just like, no, that's the newer one.
Wrong one.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when we had code. That's when Bond became a code name. I don't want to talk about that film. That film was horrible. Look it up. Actually, you can actually watch it on YouTube if they still got it. That's how bad it is. Nobody wants to take claim of that.
Oh, God.
You had 9. Look, it's tough enough when you have 2 directors directing the same film. Try 9.
Oh, God.
Oh shit.
That's how bad that film was. 9, not 1, 9. Matter of fact, let me look that up. They went through that many directors in that short period of time. 9. It was a big mess. You know it's bad when the only saving grace of that movie was a theme song. Let me see. And then, and while I'm looking this up, Joshkin,
What did I do?
do your shameful promotion.
Shameful. They're shameless. I think from what I've written, you've read that I am not allowed to have any shame. Like, I tried talking to Trey, like, I feel ashamed, and she's like, you can't feel ashamed, Aaron. But, okay. I'm coming near the end of the Rin duology and coming toward the final stretch of the series, which is really exciting because I believe I've written the series now for maybe a year or 2. So I'm finally actually getting to the finish line. I feel like I'm racing along there, and it's going to still maybe be 10 or so chapters, maybe more, but still it's coming towards the end. Currently, I think I have 83 chapters in the second part of the series. The first part of the series, there's 50 chapter, but the second chapter currently I think has 83 chapters. So I'm planning maybe 100 chapters. I think that'll cover what I want to, but it might be a little bit longer. And the series itself, the total word count, which Archive of Our Own keeps track of both individual parts of the series and the total word count, and the total word count is actually over 500,000 words. And this was a little thing that was just supposed to be a little fic that I'd work on here and there, and now it's like it decided to take over my life. So I'm excited about that. I'm currently working on the next chapter of The Thief and the Ghost. It's the first part of my web series, The Reverend's Call. And I'm using this sort of series as sort of a testing ground to see if I can get enough discussion, view count and donation increase. And if I get an increase in all those, I will try to I'll get out an ebook, a companion ebook. I just don't want to waste my money on another ebook. Want to make sure I have like a little fan base there before I try anything out. And Annieverse, which is Animorphs Choose Your Own. I did a failed attempt. I'm planning to reboot it and actually do it in such a way that I can actually get it done in this lifetime. And that'll be somewhere in the future of after I finally finish my Game of Thrones Season 7 review. I'm finally on the third and final part of that. Because this latest season of Game of Thrones got me so sort of pissed off and with so much shit to talk about that usually I'll just have a review in one part and I have to deal with everything. I need 3 parts so yeah. First 2 parts are out. Third part is being worked on. So yeah.
Okay, Kat, you're next.
Are we doing shameless plugs?
Yep, go ahead. If you're still doing it, go ahead.
My channel is still Road is what cars drive on 1241. Still attempting to get voices for my current projects, but I do hope to get them done soon so that people have more stuff to enjoy.
Okay, that's cool. That's great.
Plays. Yeah.
Right. That's wonderful. All right, so now we're done with that. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, we are in my old channel, which I almost forgot to mention, which is way too late now.
Thanks.
Put it on the other channel. I found a way to do it. As for anything else, I'm going to go back to my usual writing. Just on a blog situation until my personal thing is settled, which hopefully will be by the end of the year. And as for this show, we have a couple more shows left, like I also mentioned. We will not be on the air next week, obviously because of the holiday season and everything else. So we'll be idle for that week. But we'll be back next week. Whether Josh will be back home on time or not, that's pretty much up in the air. She might play golf. California, for all I know.
No, I'm not going to California. I'm visiting my mom.
Over here for a week now.
Yeah, I could. I'll be visiting you in England, Kat. I'm going to be stalking you, and then the final night I'm there, I'm just going to say hi and then run off.
Not so yay.
What?
Well, okay then.
We'll have a free for all, which means we're going to be looking at some interesting, weird articles of news from the entertainment world and everything else, and we'll be discussing them. They're like old time things. So that's what we are going to be doing when we come back. Just reading some articles from the UK. That's something I can actually get, and talk about some of the dumbest tabloid stories that people surprisingly still believe. I'm still waiting for this person to die any day now. But that's what tabloids are. They're junk articles. But people still believe it. People still look at the Inquirer. Don't know why, but we'll talk about some of the stories that had made people just scratch their heads, or people actually believe what they have to say to the point where they get sued almost every month because of it. So we'll talk about that next week. In the meantime, before we go, yes, I just got the Casino Royale film. It was on April 13th, my birthday, in 1967.
Do you
This
want to send
film
me
goes,
that link so I can try and watch it?
what, Casino Royale?
Yeah,
The article or the movie?
the movie,
Don't
please.
know. I don't know the free YouTube thing. Let me just check.
Oh, okay. If
I know it's on
it's
YouTube.
not. Oh, okay, good. If it's not free, then don't bother. I can't pay for it.
You can
They
pay
only
for it
charge
with love.
$2. Movie in theaters. I mean, it's here. It's not playing. So let me see if it comes on. No, it's $2.99.
Never mind then. Carry on.
Um, you can get on video for real dirt cheap now, so you don't have to worry about that.
No, but I have
The
no
film
method of
stars.
paying. That's all I'm saying.
Here's the stars of this movie, and you'd be surprised. This is how strange this film is. I find it funny they say based on the book because it had nothing to do with the book. They just basically took the title and that's it. But it was directed by Ken Hughes, John Huston, Joseph McGirt, Robert Parrish, Val Guest, what a name, Richard Chamberlain. I know I'm saying one of them wrong. All of them, who knows? It says based on Ian Fleming's Casino Royale, which has nothing to do with that. With them, I've seen the movie. It has nothing to do with the book. It stars. Here's what it is. The funny thing. It stars Peter Sellers,
Ooh.
Anderson, David Nevins, Woody Allen, Jonah Peckett, Orson Welles, Dara Levy. These are not double H. These are world class movie stars in this movie.
R.I.P. Peter Sellers.
Uh huh. Peter Sellers actually quit the film because he couldn't get along with Orson Welles.
Oh God,
I
I
wonder
don't
how.
blame him.
I guess he's that bad of a. He can't get along with too many people, huh? Now,
No.
this is kind of funny because this is actually a true event. This has been for a while. This has been the only one that was not owned by Albert Broccoli, the person behind the production of Enron series. Casino Royale was actually owned by Columbia Pictures. They always had the rights to this, and it was only after the merger between and Columbia, which really wasn't a merger but a joint venture, that they was able to attain the rights to Casino Royale, which was able to restart the Bond franchise from the beginning. The most notable thing that many people can remember with this movie is the soundtrack of Love. This film was nominated for Best Song. It's the only thing that people
Yeah,
actually remember.
that's great. That like the movie sucked, but goddamn that theme. Like the Animorphs TV series sucks, but goddamn that theme song.
Yeah, and the premises of this film was Smirch, which surprisingly actually kept that name, wanted to try and kill James Bond. So what happened was the real Bond had made a code name. So Peter Sellers was James Bond. You had Ursula Andress was James Bond. David Niven played the original Bond as Sir James Bond, a legendary British secret agent forced out of retirement.
Okay, you lost me about halfway through one sentence there.
Last thing I got was Peter Sellers was James Bond. That was the last thing I got, and then it just went.
I'm not talking about it cutting out. I meant the words you were saying clearly weren't making sense to my brain.
Yeah.
Basically, what happened was that David Niven's Bond is supposed to be the original James Bond. Okay, he was Sir James Bond. He was the agent who was retired and was forced out of retirement to fight Smurge after they killed his boss. Okay, I'm maybe giving you a quick review on this because I hate this
Okay.
movie. Basically, what happened was to fight Smurge, he had recruited other agents to play him. So
You're the guy. I don't have to tell you.
I can't believe you can hear that music.
I'm sorry, it makes more sense than whatever you're saying.
This movie don't make sense. I'll tell you right now what happened in this movie. One of the Bonds turned bad, killed off Peter Sellers' Bond. There's this whole fight where you see every Bond has come out of the woodwork, even an Indian Bond. Yeah, they had an Indian Bond.
What?
Okay,
What the? I mean, James Bond is British.
Not in this one. Like I said, there's different Bonds in this movie. Woody Allen played James Bond.
Wait,
Right.
the fuck?
Woody Allen plays James
basically-
Bond.
I'm
He-
sorry. What this sounds to me like is a multiverse
No,
Bond
No.
convention.
no, I'm sorry.
It's a,
They
it's a
gave me-
convention, and they just
gave-
let fans play the James Bond.
I
Yeah.
apologize. Okay, I apologize. He didn't play James Bond 007. He played his nephew, Jimmy Bond.
Oh, that's
Hey!
slightly less worse. Slightly.
Right. I think I understand.
Okay, hang on. I need to get the camera on so I can tell you how much fairer makes it. See the little space between those two fingers? That's how much fairer makes it.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Now, Orson Welles plays the bad guy, the chief. And you can tell from some of the scenes he was in with Peter Sellers, if I actually remember even being, they did not get along at all. We have, I'm telling you, I can't, I am stunned that they had a lot of people here that you did not think was in this film, but they were in this film. You had, in the end of the film, everybody dies.
Hey!
You know, they destroy everyone inside. Sir James Bond and all the agents then appears in heaven while Jimmy Bond gets dragged to hell. That's how the film ends.
What the heck? Can you say that again?
Pardon?
They destroy Casino Royale. Everybody inside dies, and all the Bonds goes to heaven while Jimmy Bond, played by Woody Allen, because he turned to be a bad guy, gets descended. He gets dragged to hell. That film ends just like that.
How do I feel about this?
This I'm telling you, it's a movie that you can't describe. You have to see it to believe it.
I don't want to see it.
ridiculous.
I don't want to believe it.
You need to see it just for the fun of it.
The
I
fun.
don't know if
Just
I
for-
want to see this. I think I might need someone to
No,
hold my hand.
you ever see it, you'd be wondering why it took almost a half a century. It's been around only 50 years, but yeah, like I said, it took almost a few decades just to get Bond right. Casino Royale has been made. Casino Royale has been done 3 times in
Three?
the Bond lifespan. Yeah, the first time was an American version. He was a CIA agent known as Jimmy Bond.
Wait, what the hell?
Oh,
What?
God.
Sorry, I dozed for like half a second and I'm hearing Jimmy Bond and all I can think is Jimmy Johns.
He was, it's
Casino
weird.
Royale has been done 3 times and it started off as American.
yes, and you
With
know how,
Jimmy
and that
John?
involved with Jimmy Bond. He was a CIA. He was supposed to be instead of him being a British agent, he was a CIA agent. It was meant for TV. It only lasted 1 shot. That was it. Then they did the spoof, which we all know how that worked out. And then they finally got it right with Casino Royale, even though it was updated. Okay. So yeah, we had 3. We had to go through 2 different. All right, look. I don't know why you got that restaurant in your head.
I'm sorry.
But yeah,
I don't even like it either.
yeah. You see, if you see this movie, you be like, wow, you would not. 'Cause here's the thing, though. This movie probably wouldn't have been as bad if they didn't have all these directors because you can tell each director did their own thing in this movie, and nothing here makes sense. You feel like there was a scene that was one director did and he just quit, and then another scene came in, and it just
Were all the directors drunk at the time of filming?
someone got
It
fired. I
sounds
think
like
one of them
it.
got fired. It was insane. It was meant to be a comedy, and for what I understand, Peter Sellers did not want it to do it like that. He wanted to take it
Peter Sellers
seriously
is good at
because he got.
comedy, but I don't really think James Bond does well with comedy.
He does good
Oh
with
no,
like
it doesn't.
one-liners, but not outright comedy.
Yeah.
Well, they learned that the hard way. I mean,
That works.
they learned it the hard way because they never did anything like this again. I mean, I gave this film a half a star. It was just that bad. I'm like, wow, I can't even give this film a full. I had to give it a half a star because the film just made no sense. But and why David Nevins was the first choice to play Bond when they first started doing the movie series because he did fit the role. And the only reason why, for what I understand, that he didn't pick the role because he wasn't going to be committed to doing two other Bonds if, in fact, the first Bond was successful. So that's probably one of the reasons why we didn't get that that David Nevins. He did multiple roles in the Pink Panther, but not in the that he had. Also, keep in mind, uncredited cast included Peter O'Toole, Sterling Moss, Keystone Cops. Um, we also have John Huston, and the film also made a debut of Dave Powers. Dave Powers, Pete Powers, I'm sorry, Powwse. He was the physical form of Darth Vader. So there's a little history for you guys. And all silence. That's beautiful.
Okay, sounds. Do you want us to start singing again?
Yes, please.
No, I think we covered everything. I think
Sounds of
you're not.
silence.
I don't think you're going to be singing to 9 to 5. That's all
Now
right now.
let's see. God damn, if only I remembered the lyrics and the beat of that song. I would totally start singing that now, just to get back.
Just leave Darth Vader alone. Let us sing a song out. Let's go. All right, guys, that's it. Like I said, next week will not be on the air. We will be back on 2 weeks. We do have some tabloid junk to talk about, and we have pretty much that and the next show, and then we'll be on our very small hiatus. I'm not going too far with it. Once the mid-January comes in, we're in. But for now, we do have 2 more shows to do. And until that time, this is J77 saying take care, be safe. I'll talk to you soon. Say goodbye, girls.
Adios.